Are you looking for a book that's an easy read? You can literally read it in a couple of days or less, but the content is not heavy and it won't change your life. Like, these books I'm going to be talking about today, they hit the spot for what you want. However, the overall dialogue, plot, and just narrative is lacking. They're not great reads, but I love them. You know what I mean? Like, you love the book, but it's not a great book. These are the books I'm going to be talking about in today's video, and I didn't even mean for this to happen. Like, my April reads was meant to be completely different. I did my cat chooses my April TBR, and I'm not going to do it with them ever again because I am a mood reader through and through. If you relate, comment down below. I'm a sucker for just going with the mood. I'm terrible. So I'm not going to make them again because I can't stick to a TBR. And all of these reads were really random and I never planned to read them. I hadn't even heard about these books before April. So that's great for me. Honestly, the curse of being a mood reader. Now, if you're not new to the channel, you know this is a completely different setup for me, but I'm at my parents' house and this is the only place that has good lighting. So I'm in this weird position. It's not going to be a long video anyway, so I thought, here we go. But if you're new, hello, welcome, and welcome to the madhouse. I'm feeling ratty today, so this is going to be a bit of a crazy video. Let me get right into it. So in April, I read 5 books, and the first one was King of Pride by Ana Huang, and the other 4 was the Lochlann Feuds series by who was it by? Robin D. Marler and where are my 2 people? Ellie Madison. Only reason why I stumbled across those books is because on Audible, they were 1 credit for 4 books. So I was like, why not give it a go? And I ended up storming all 4 books. Let me start with this bad boy. So we've got King of Pride by Ana Huang, and this is part of the Kings of Sin series. The first one's called King of Wrath, and I've already spoken about that on my channel in my books I read in March or something like that. And this is the second book in the series. There's currently 4 books. The 4th book's just come out. This book follows Kai and Isabella, and they are friends of the 2 main characters from the first book, Dante and Vivian. It's a billionaire romance, an adult or new adult because there is some smut in here, there's a bit of spice. So our male lead, Kai, he is the CEO of this media empire, which his mum is currently the CEO of, and he's a billionaire, obviously. It's always the guys. He is going through it in this book with the pressure of maybe becoming the next CEO. However, he has an infatuation with Isabella, Vivian's best friend. Isabella is a bartender at the exclusive club all of these billionaires go to. She's kind of like a party girl. She's really inappropriate. She's got like purple, dark, black hair, and she's very outspoken. She wants to be an author, but is kind of failing. She's a bit of a dropout, so she hops around jobs a lot. So they're completely different. It's a very opposites attract love story. I did enjoy it. I mean, it gave me what I wanted. I felt like a spicy read, and it's a world I know because I've read the first book, and I loved Kai from book 1. Like, I had the freaking hots for him. He's English, everyone else in it's American, and he seemed like he is so prim and proper, but he has that bad streak. Should I say bad or like dirty streak? And he does, and you definitely find a new character, a new side of him in this book compared to the first book. So it gave me what I wanted in regards to the spice, and I love Kai, I wanted more of him, and I really like Isabella. However, the dialogue in this book is pure crap. Like, from the get-go. I did read the first couple of chapters hungover, so maybe that had an impact, but it was so blah. Like, compared to the first book was good, but this was, it gave me what I wanted. I ended it loving it, but it wasn't a good book. I hope you know what I'm trying to give off. Like, don't pick this up thinking it's an amazing book with great dialogue, great character development, and cool scenes, because it's not like that. Like, it gave me great spicy scenes, but even then it was toned down, I feel like, compared to the first book. Like, they were more intense in the first book, I felt, compared to this one. Sorry, I'm just thinking of some of the scenes. If you've watched it, the library scene in this book, oh my god, my jaw. I was like, okay, this is how it's gonna go. This is Kai's kink. Go and read it and you'll find out. That's what I mean. I am gonna recommend this book if you want a billionaire romance with a bit of spice and no plot or oomph, because this didn't have that, and shitty dialogue, because this is what it has. And I'm still going to continue on with the series. I can't wait to read King of Greed, and King of Sloth just came out and I'm dying to read that. I've seen so many thirst traps and posts about it already on BookTok, and I feel like I'm missing out. So I am continuing with the series, but overall I gave this a 2.5. It hit the spot, but it's not world changing. I feel like sorry, I'm coming back now. I feel like I just had expectations and it wasn't met. That's probably why I was a bit harsh, but 2.5 is still a good score. The next series I bloody completed, I can't bloody believe it, was the 4 books within the Lochlann Feuds series by Robin D. Marlar and Ellie Madison. And I have my notes up here because I'm not going to remember all of the names of each of the books. So the first book's called Scarlet Princess, then Tarnished Crown, then Crimson Kingdom, and lastly, Obsidian Throne. And this is a YA romance, the tiniest bit of fantasy in there. Like, if you're not into fantasy books, but you're into romance, I would still recommend this to you, because the fantasy element literally only comes into play in the last book. And it is mentioned slightly throughout, and it's literally minuscule. So if you're not into fantasy, I'd still give this a go. And it's also historical, like, it's not set in modern times. Okay, so this story follows Robin, who is the princess to the Lochlannians, and this is a huge territory, and kind of, in my head, I'm viewing it as like a continent. That's their area, which they have a kingdom, and they're run by king and queen. But then in another territory, they're called the Sicarians, and they don't have a king and queen, they just have tons of clans, and they have been at war before, which is kind of why this lot, they're not doing as well as the Lochlannians, basically, and they kind of still have a lot of hate towards those people. So the story follows Rowan when she's trying to smuggle vodka from the Sicarians back to Lochlann, and she gets taken. There becomes a big thing where they're like, well, you're going to have to go to trial for this, because usually people that smuggle are sentenced to death. So it's a whole big thing, and it's her getting to know Theo, who is our male main character in the first book, and about their relationship, and also about her meeting all of the clans and being on trial. That is basically what the first book's about, and what sets the books for the 4-book series. It is a slow burn romance, which each book gets better. It ticks a lot of boxes in regards to tropes. So it's got found family, it's got the one bed trope, a bit of miscommunication, slow burn. It says it's a steamy enemy to lovers. It has no spice in, and I would say it's extremely PG. So if you're not looking for a spicy book, this could be for you. Like, it is good romance. I'm not gonna lie, I like the romance in this. Like, it ticks a lot of boxes, and it does that slowly through the book. The found family bit is a really good, like, the way Rowan is with soldiers and how she interacts and how she holds herself up against the men is great, because it's not modern. It's set in a time where women literally, they were just wives and they weren't meant to do anything. But in Lochlann, where she is from, it's not like that, and women are given a much more respect. They can fight, etc. But she's a badass fighter. She's really headstrong. She's really outspoken. So when she gets put in this old traditional environment, she stands out like a sore thumb. And she's got really curly red hair, which I loved. It gave me Brave vibes, like the Disney film. She's just a badass, and I freaking loved her. And I loved her as the books got on, like, even more. She's great. But I didn't like the first book. I didn't. If I didn't have a full package deal, I would not have continued the series. However, it gets so much better. The first book is crap. Sorry if you loved it, but I didn't. The whole book is so frustrating. Literally, she's being sentenced to death, probably, maybe, because she was trying to smuggle vodka. The whole thing is about her wanting vodka, her not being able to have vodka, it going wrong, and then her being taken and being on trial. And it's not even a big amount of vodka, like it's literally 2 bottles. So the whole book, I'm like, she's in this mess because of vodka, nothing more. And it grated me. And I didn't vibe with Theo, the main guy. I was like, oh, okay. And the dialogue's not great. The story just didn't have oomph. It lacked development for me. However, I loved Rowan. She did keep me engaged. And once you meet all of the clans, and then another guy gets introduced, Evander, and let's just say I love him. Way more than Theo. These were my ratings. So, the first book I gave a 2.5. But what I will say is the point of this bloody video as well is, even though it wasn't good, it hit the spot. If you are looking for an easy read where you don't need to worry about understanding loads of names and places and magical systems and thick layering and in-depth plot, you just want a romance with enemies to lovers and easy reading, these books are for you. They are. It does get more intricate as the series goes on, but it's not massive, it's not mind-blowing, it's very, very easy to follow. So I gave it the first book a 2.5. However, book 2, I gave it a 4 out of 5. It freaking rocked. Probably because the situation is quite different for her. You learn a lot more about her, you learn a lot more about the male interest in it as well, and yeah, I just really liked the vibes of that book. The third book I gave a 3.75 because it wasn't as good as the second, but it was really good. I like the setting. Again, you get introduced to a lot more characters. It is exciting. And then the last book I gave a 3.5 because even though I enjoyed it, the dialogue flipped back to me to the first book vibe, so it dropped a bit. The only thing I did love about the fourth book though was, because I listened to it all on Audible, the fourth book had 2 narrators. So the male main interest, or the male main lead, had a male character do his voice, and then the female obviously had the female voice. That man's voice, I was like, yes, I am here for it. Don't know what it is, it makes such a big difference. It makes the biggest difference having a male actor play the male lead and a female actor play the female lead when narrating. Oh, the scenes, it made it feel hotter. And you know when you read in a book and it's like the man growled, the male character can just do that like rough, deep groan, which sets the vibe, it sets the tone, and it makes it, loved it. So that was a bonus for the fourth book, but the female narrator throughout was really good. Sorry if the screen has changed, but I remembered after filming that I wanted to say this about the Lochlannian series, is that I had shock moments. So it even gives you that. It has some unexpected twists and turns in there. So it's not always that predictable. The last like couple of chapters of the last book, I had one of those moments where I was like, oh my God. So yeah, I ended the series on a big high. Those are the 5 books I've read this month. Let me know what you have read this month and whether they've been really good reads, whether they were pretty meh. Like I said, mine were meh reads, but they were exactly what I wanted. Yeah, let me know if you've read any of these series, what you thought of it. Have you read the new King of Sloth? Is it good? I have serious FOMO right now because I haven't read those books. So yeah, I hope you pick up one of these books and I haven't trashed them too much, because I think people will enjoy these books, but I've set the expectation quite well, I think. So if you go into it knowing what I've told you, you are going to eat these books up. I hope you enjoyed the video today, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.